Tonight's reality check, we are questioning how Pritchard spent federal COVID relief funds.
Records NBC 15 News obtained show the city paid high-ranking staff tens of thousands of dollars to be on the city's COVID team. Payments some residents are angry about, but the mayor is defending. In response to the pandemic, the federal government doled out billions in emergency aid to state and local governments across the country. Pritchard received more than $5 million in American Rescue Plan Act funding, or ARPA funding. Financial reports NBC 15 News obtained show the city formed a COVID team and paid team members nearly $175,000 using ARPA funds. We asked Pritchard's mayor, who was not on the team, about the payments. Do you know what they did to earn that?
They weren't. It's quite that simple. You know, as you know, when the COVID came up, no one had any real idea how this should work, how the funds should be put together, planned, and execution and implementation of those funds. There's a lot of work goes into that.
The report shows 6 high-level Pritchard City staff was on the COVID team. Former Chief of Staff Rodney Clements, Interim Fire Chief David Hale, Police Chief Walter Knight, and Executive Assistant TJ Petway were all paid almost $28,000 in 6 months, from June 2021 to January 2022. City Clerk Franklin McMillan was paid nearly $25,000, and Pritchard City Attorney Moshe Donald was paid the most, nearly $33,000.
The optics here are terrible. It's a terrible optic.
To some people, it would look like people are lining their pockets here. Is that what's going on here?
That's your statement. That's not mine. I just explained to you very, very clearly that the law clearly stated that under premium pay, that it was an allowable expense, and they work for their money, just like anyone else does.
In an email, City Attorney Moshe Donald said in part, quote, individuals worked overtime to prepare the city of Pritchard to operate during a national pandemic and to face and respond to ever-changing circumstances and challenges constantly presented by COVID-19. Former Chief of Staff Howard Porter says even if the law allows it, he believes the payments were not appropriate.
There are citizens who could have used this $100 and some odd thousand. There are individual citizens who could have used this. And there are employees, it could have been spread around to the lower paid employees.
Records also show the city paid a consulting firm $178,000.
Other cities we checked with, Mobile, Saraland, and Chickasaw, did not use ARPA funds to pay high-ranking staff.
Tonight's reality check, fire hydrant failure in Pritchard.
A family lost everything they owned in a fire yesterday because there was not enough water pressure in a nearby fire hydrant to put out the flames.
Today, the Water Board was prepared to talk about its failure behind closed doors in executive session until I stopped them.
Go into executive session to discuss the issue of the house fires.
All 5 Pritchard Water Board members voted to go into a secret executive session to discuss the fire hydrant failure during Sunday's fire.
I'm with NBC 15 News, and I just went for the record to object to a board going into executive session to discuss a matter of public safety.
After pointing out the inappropriate use of executive session and importance of such a topic being discussed in the open, John Johnson changed his tune and noted that's how business has to be done sometimes to get answers.
Thank you, Ms. Ramey. Thank you. Amen. Thank you. And I'll rescind my motion.
The board then adjourned without discussing the breakdown.
The fire hydrant, it's not water coming out of there.
Aisha Davis says the flames quickly spread through her grandparents' home on Mayor Avenue after firefighters arrived on scene.
They could have saved the fire, could have been put the majority of the fire out. But now her house is a total loss because it's no water pressure.
Davis says this picture was taken as firefighters tried to get water out of the hydrant. The master intake gauge on the fire truck read 0. The fire department says there wasn't enough water pressure and says that is a Pritchard water failure, a failure that resulted in an irreplaceable loss for the Davis family.
Her house could have been saved. And that's the only thing that kind of hurt because all our childhood memories are gone.
Tonight at 6, the infighting on the board is leading to public calls for their impeachment. NBC 15 News is committed to holding those in power accountable. If you see an issue in our community that we need to address, give our Reality Check hotline a call. Tonight's reality check investigation, a dramatic increase in police chases in Mobile. Documents NBC 15 News obtained show they almost doubled last year compared to the year before. Today I sat down with Police Chief Paul Prine to try and understand why.
The million-dollar question is, why are people not stopping for law enforcement?
Increasingly, more people aren't. Documents NBC 15 News requested from the Mobile Police Department show there were 200 police chases in Mobile in 2022, compared to 111 in 2021. We asked if automated license plate readers, which can be used to flag cars connected to criminal investigations, contributed to the increase.
I would not deny and say that we don't use that technology, but I would tell you, if you look at the numbers, the vast majority of these traffic stops start off as a traffic infraction.
Last year, traffic violations were the initial reason for police contact 77% of the time. Police say a traffic violation prompted this chase last month. Investigators say Tymetric James raced down Airport Boulevard at more than 100 miles per hour and put innocent bystanders in danger.
The guy just came out of nowhere. I didn't even see him coming.
Ernest Williams says James hit his car as he sat at a red light. Williams says he wasn't seriously hurt, but his airbag deployed and his car was totaled.
I really don't think they ought to be chasing him. They should call ahead, set up some kind of roadblock or something, but that's a dangerous thing, especially when the criminal doesn't care whether he hurts anybody.
Chief Paul Prine says officers have a duty to stop criminal behavior.
It appears that, society wants to blame the police for the actual bad behavior of the driver. And that's so unfortunate. We don't want anybody getting certainly injured in any capacity, certainly killed.
One person did die last year. Mobile police say they tried to pull over 18-year-old Josiah Franklin for not having a tag. Police say the pursuit was called off when they crossed into another jurisdiction. But Franklin lost control and crashed into a tree. 19-year-old Kaylin Drain was ejected and died. Franklin is charged with her death. Because of the danger pursuits can pose to the public, some agencies are moving away from them and turning to technology to help catch the suspects. One police department on Long Island, New York, started using GPS darts earlier this year.
We GPS tag it. Then if we put the lights on and the car decides to drive away, we don't even need to chase it. Now we can see where it is, we can track it.
We're certainly open to new technology that would help mitigate any property damage, certainly personal injury to anybody.
Prine says the department is always evaluating itself, and he believes they're following the best pursuit policies now that minimize the risk to the public but still hold criminals accountable. Here are some other takeaways from the report. Last year, 32% of the chases involved speeds more than 91 miles per hour. 24% of the time they ended with the suspect crashing. 58% of crashes last year lasted either 1 or 2 miles, and 46% lasted 1 or 2 minutes. To review police chase reports for the last 3 years, head to our website, mynbc15.com.